British Ghanaians Lost in Translation is a documentary about the experiences of the Ghanaian diaspora in Britain. Most specifically, the erosion of Ghana's native languages among the Ghanaian communities here in Great Britain. We found that there is a large percentage of that population who don't speak their mother tongue. There are, at this moment in time, 70 distinct languages across Ghana, and the official language in Ghana is English. Here in the UK, only a small percentage of Ghanaians or people descended from Ghanaians residing in Britain speak their mother tongue. So we were looking at the reasons why this is the case. My experience learning Twi is almost non-existent. My parents have had periods where they've spoken to me in the language, normally at my insistence. As a child growing up, my parents didn't speak Twi to me or my sister. As such, I have minimal grasp on the language. There are a number of courses I'm looking at. The one that makes most sense is the Ghanaian Language School. The one that interests me the most is Pimsleur, which, as far as my readings are concerned, it was a method developed to help spies integrate with or into new surroundings. So, for example, an American agent would use the Pimsleur method to insert him or herself into, I don't know, the Russian community. There's a way in which it's taught with an emphasis on real usable phrases rather than just sounds and words and masculine and feminine or whatever the case may be. I always said to myself, because I always had the ability to pick up songs and song lyrics really quickly as a kid, and would say that I would probably have aced all my exams if revision was in the form of song. So maybe I should use Hip Life and High Life as a way of reinforcing what I'm learning in the classroom or online. I would like my children, when they come along, to be as Ghanaian as they can be. More Ghanaian than me. Provided my wife agrees. I would like them to spend a considerable period in Ghana, whether it's 6 months. I could probably only get her to agree to maybe something like 6 months in Ghana to properly soak up the culture and the language as best they can. I will insist that my parents speak Twi to my children when they are in their company. When mum and dad are looking after them, for instance, while we're at work, or in a preschool sense. I would like my kids to associate the language with my mum and dad and learn it. And I want my parents to pass down tales and stories to them in a way that they didn't with my sister and I. I think it's important to stress that I don't blame my parents in any way, or their generation. They had their reasons, and there are a number of factors that can be used to explain those reasons. Good ones, valid ones. But I don't want my kids to lose out in the same way that I have. Can't speak for others. I think it's rude to do so, and if I were to speak on others' behalf, that would make me a politician, and I definitely am not that. But I feel that I am not as Ghanaian as I could or should be because I don't speak the language. I side with the experts in that to properly identify with a culture, or to fully identify with a culture, language is key. I wouldn't class myself as a plastic Ghanaian. I do believe that's a very harsh and negative term, but I'm not the full Ghanaian that I would like to be. I think my parents have definitely seen that there are reasons for not speaking Tree to us as children was not the right thing to do. As I said earlier, it's not about blaming them. My parents' generation's reasons for not speaking the language were numerous, from the desire to assimilate as best they could to making sure that their children weren't confused at school. That's probably the biggest misconception. But having watched the documentary, I don't think they were surprised at how widespread it was, because they knew that their friends were pretty much doing the same thing. But since I can inform you that my niece, my sister's little girl, is being spoken to in Tree all the time when she goes to stay with my mum and dad, and has started speaking, and so can now speak both English and, well, I say speak, she can understand 2 languages at the moment, and it's fantastic to hear her speaking to grandma, and sometimes my sister, who can't speak Tree at all, in the language. Last week I was speaking to my sister over the phone, and I could hear my niece in the background saying "Mami ba, Mami ba," which I thought was just so sweet. And she's on her way. My mum will speak to her in no other language. I'm now trying to get my dad, who is as reluctant as ever, to speak Yoruba to her, because my dad's family are originally from Nigeria. So if he can speak Yoruba, my mum can speak Tree, and the rest of us speak English to her. That's 3 languages before she even starts school, and that is as good a start as as any. To have command of 3 languages, and go into the science, to have the neural pathways to help that, means she's just going to be so much more receptive to all forms of information as she grows up.